Imagine standing in your yard on a dry summer morning, turning the handle on your well pump, and hearing nothing but a hollow, sputtering hiss. It is a moment where the modern illusion of security completely vanishes, leaving you with the sudden realization that the water grid we all take for granted is incredibly fragile. For anyone trying to live self-reliantly, watching water pressure drop or seeing local water tables steadily deplete is a deeply unsettling experience. When the taps go dry or local authorities start rationing what you can use on your own land, your entire independence is put on the line. It forces us to ask a difficult question that most people simply choose to ignore. What happens when storing a few barrels of water is no longer enough to protect your household? The reality of our current water infrastructure is that it is being pushed to its absolute limits, and the traditional safety nets are starting to show major cracks. If you rely on a private well, you are at the mercy of unpredictable underground aquifers that can drop without warning, leaving you with a 5-month backlog just to get a drilling rig out to your property. If you rely on municipal systems, you are vulnerable to treatment failures, chemical contamination, or sudden grid outages that take the pumps offline entirely. Storing water in heavy food-grade barrels is a solid baseline strategy, but those reserves are strictly finite, and they turn into a clear target for desperate people if a prolonged crisis ever hits your community. It is a constant, quiet frustration for anyone trying to build a resilient off-grid life while knowing their most critical daily necessity is still tied to factors entirely out of their control. When you look at the options available for achieving true water independence, the choices usually feel incredibly restricted and heavily compromised. You can spend thousands of dollars on industrial, corporate-made atmospheric water generators, but those massive machines are often loud, require complex commercial maintenance, and are highly dependent on a massive amount of grid power. On the other end of the spectrum, you have basic survival methods like building primitive solar stills or collecting morning dew with plastic tarps, which simply cannot produce the volume needed to sustain a household, wash clothes, or keep a small garden alive. This massive gap leaves most independent-minded families stuck between overpriced commercial technology and completely impractical wilderness survival tactics. Within this landscape, people have been searching for a middle ground that provides reliable production without the corporate price tag. That is where a system called Joseph's Well comes into the picture. Instead of a pre-manufactured appliance shipped to your door by a massive corporation, Joseph's Well is a comprehensive digital blueprint and step-by-step video instruction program designed specifically for the everyday builder and patriot. It focuses on a decentralized approach to resource security by teaching you exactly how to construct your own independent water source from scratch. It is framed not as a magical, effortless fix for the water crisis, but rather as a practical, self-reliance project worth understanding for anyone who wants to take their family's utility security completely into their own hands. Because it is a fully digital product, you receive immediate access to the entire program via downloadable blueprints, detailed schematics, and high-definition instructional videos right after ordering. The package is delivered straight to your computer or tablet, meaning there are no shipping delays, no supply chain disruptions, and no physical packages arriving at your house to draw unwanted attention from neighbors. Along with the core building guides, the program includes a series of specific digital handbooks covering structural water storage security, natural mineralization techniques to ensure long-term drinking quality, and educational breakdowns on identifying hidden contaminants in local water supplies. You know exactly what you are getting from the start: a complete step-by-step educational toolkit to build a functional piece of off-grid infrastructure. The actual building process is designed to be highly accessible, even if you do not consider yourself a master mechanic or an advanced contractor. The program guides you through sourcing common everyday materials that you can easily find at a local hardware store or even find gathering dust in your own garage or workshop. You will spend time handling basic tools, following clear wiring diagrams, and configuring a compact refrigeration and condensation loop that mimics the natural dew-making processes of the atmosphere. The guide honestly outlines the physical effort required to assemble the condenser cycle and seal the filtration system properly, ensuring that you understand the mechanics of the build rather than just blindly putting parts together. It allows you to mentally picture every turn of the screwdriver and every connection before you ever spend a single dollar on components. Once the construction phase is complete, the operational reality of the system is straightforward but requires consistent, mindful ownership. The system operates by drawing ambient humidity directly from the air around it, filtering that moisture through a multi-stage loop, and collecting it as fresh, cold drinking water. It can run seamlessly on standard grid electricity inside a home or garage, but it is specifically engineered to be adapted to completely off-grid configurations, running efficiently on a basic car battery and a modest solar panel setup. In terms of maintenance, it requires periodic filter checks and basic cleaning of the collection reservoir to keep the water pure. which is typical for any serious filtration gear. The major operational constraint to keep in mind is that its total daily output is naturally tied to the humidity levels in your regional climate, meaning performance will fluctuate based on the weather. This specific program is ideally suited for independent homeowners, rural landowners, off-grid homesteaders, and individuals who prioritize proactive family protection and biblical models of self-reliance. It appeals directly to the person who prefers knowing exactly how their equipment works from the inside out, so they can fix it themselves if the grid ever goes completely dark. Conversely, this project is definitely not for individuals who want a plug-and-play appliance or those who are unwilling to spend a weekend working with their hands to assemble a piece of hardware. It requires a mindset of active preparation and a willingness to follow technical instructions carefully to achieve the best results. If any of this sounds relevant to your situation and you want to see how this approach fits into your overall readiness plan, the link with the full details is in the description below, and it is well worth a look. Gathering this kind of practical, decentralized knowledge is one of the smartest steps you can take to ensure your household remains stable when outside systems begin to falter. For the right person in the right situation, this is the kind of practical project that changes how you think about long-term water independence entirely.